Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith, Silent Bob, and all those terrible Jay and Silent Bob type pictures, man. You're listening to Drop the Mic, the only podcast that I listen to that I'm not a part of. Every podcast I listen to, I usually talk on it, but not fucking Drop the Mic. That's where I'm like, let me hear what the boys have to say. And now, we drop the mic.
He loves me.
Spend this Valentine's Day
He loves me not.
with someone you love,
He loves me.
someone you trust,
He loves me not.
and someone you know
He loves me.
won't try to kill you.
Will you dance with me? Dance with me? Dance with me? Dance with me?
Remember the kid everybody ignored on Valentine's Day?
Loser.
Well, he remembers you.
God, we were so horrible to that kid.
What do you think happened to him?
Hello? Stay away from me.
Valentine.
Welcome back to our Humble San Diego podcast. I am your host, Wesley. Alongside me tonight, we have Ryan Jimenez, as per usual. And this is our very special Valentine's Day episode. So welcome to episode 346, which we're appropriately calling Filthy Mind. Well, we're going to talk about a little slasher film from the early 2000s called Valentine. But what's up, Ryan? How are you? Welcome back.
What's up? How's it going? We're on the eve of the loveliest holiday of all time.
I guess, if you want to say that. So, for context, for maybe newer listeners, we've already talked about this movie once on the show a few years back for Valentine's Day, of course. Back then, and like I said on last week's show, I just wasn't too happy with the outcome of that, so I wanted to do a little bit of a revisit, which is I'm pretty much going to just open up the floor when we get to the main focus, and it'll be kind of more on the fly review, if that's cool with you, Ryan.
Yes.
And now for a special news report. Brought to you by Drop the Mic.
Dan Trachtenberg is set to direct a new standalone Predator movie titled Badlands. And I think on top of this, direct sequel Prey is still in the works. So Fox and Disney are kind of just giving him the go, I guess, which is fucking awesome. Hopefully the next two he does come out on the big screen. How do you feel about that?
I'm excited, and I will second you on that. I hope that they, stop with the streaming, or at least do, a theatrical run first, because Prey was crazy, and I'm kind of shocked that we're getting 2 more outings with this kind of lore,
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Supposedly this one's going to take place in the future.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, dude, I'm stoked. I think I'm a little bit more stoked for a Prey sequel, direct sequel. That's going to be awesome. But yeah, fucking Disney, put this on the big screen. Let us see this with a packed house.
And not have to go to LA or something.
Yeah. Moving forward, The Conjuring 4 will be the last entry in the franchise, in Michael Chavis is set to direct, with both Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson expected back. It's kind of cool because I know we both kind of dug the Second Nun, and this fool directed the Second Nun, and they're bringing him in for The Conjuring 4. So that's exciting.
I believe he also directed The Curse of La Llorona. I think.
Yeah.
He did that.
You know,
as well.
dude, that was okay.
Like you didn't like it?
No, I liked it. I finally gave it a watch a couple months ago, and I liked it. I liked it better than the first Nun.
Oh yeah, hands down, way more entertaining, and it seems like a movie that gets really shitted on. Even now,
I think I even liked that more than the first Annabelle. To be honest with you.
Yeah, the first Annabelle is pretty trash. And I went to I got screener tickets for that Annabelle, and expecting to love it, and I was like, what is this? Like, it looks like it was shot for TV, like a made for TV movie. I didn't understand at all.
And I think they're going to start filming. Filming's going to start for The Conjuring 4, I think, this summer. So, yeah, man, I can't wait. The Conjuring movies are always fun to go see in the theaters, and they always make a shit ton of money.
So this is the fourth and last one.
Yes.
But they're also going to do a show, right?
Yes. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do another Nun, because that one did so well.
Yep, a little trilogy.
Yeah. In some more spooky news, Kevin Williamson, we love him on the show, and he's best known for Scream, and I know he did that summer. He's partnered with Universal Television to adapt Hitchcock's Rear Window and Fincher's The Game into a TV series. Thoughts?
Oh.
Random, right?
Yeah, that's some big projects. Do you like The Game?
I think it's one of my... I think it's on the tier of Fincher. I think it's probably on the lower end.
Okay.
It's cool.
Yeah, because a mutual of ours, I won't say their name, hates that fucking movie. So just curious.
Yeah, it's Fincher, so it's good. It's just not my favorite Fincher. I'm excited though. I'm excited for him to take a stab at it. No pun intended. And it's cool that they're doing. I think Hitchcock stuff is kind of in that phase where it's totally fine to kind of try to redo or adapt into something new. And I think that would work well, like in telling that story in the present, with how technology is and everyone's obsessed with it.
Yeah, I mean, if they got away with Bates Motel, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. Kind of crazy. In my last little bit of news, some more on the physical media front and why you should own it. So Crunchyroll, I guess, is they have a streaming service called Funimation. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do, yes.
So they're shutting it down, that streaming service. And if you purchased copies of anything on that fucking app, they will no longer be available to you. They're fucking deleting everything. So you fucking hundreds of dollars and see you later. Bye bye. Which is fucking insane. Like, you own that. You bought that shit. It's just another kind of shitty thing that when you buy something digitally like that, you don't really own it. And then on top of that, I was reading today that not really physical media related, but kind of streaming service related, Amazon is going to be dropping Dolby Vision and Atmos unless you start paying more. And that kind of goes into like how we've been talking about how these streaming services are getting a little bit too expensive. I think at some point they're going to start fucking. I think they're already starting to dig their graves. But I saw a tweet saying that in the future, Amazon's probably going to say like, you're going to pay $6.99 for our service, and it's going to look like VHS quality. And if you don't want it to look like VHS quality, pay $30 a month. which I'm pretty sure that's what it's gonna go down to. It's crazy, dude. I feel like every week I have a little news bit about something like this, some fuckery like this.
Hey, do you have any thoughts on the new Twisters official trailer?
I have a little section of my news about the trailers. It looks cool, dude. You know what? We gotta go back to like mid '90s, late '90s, early 2000s. Along with like, I was gonna kind of say something like that for Valentine, but give me shitty fucking 2000 slashers. Give me movies like Twister and fucking summer blockbuster like Independence Day back. So hopefully this starts a new trend. But I dug it. I think the trailer looks cool. I don't think it's a direct sequel, right?
No.
It looks like they're kind of rebooting it. So yeah, dude, I'm down for it. And fucking two Twisters at once. Let's go, baby. Give me all those fucking cows flying in. What did you think about it?
Yeah, it looks cool. Like I'm a fan of the first one. So
yeah,
it'll be nice. I hope they do something where they bring back the first one as a fan favorite or something, so we can check that out in the because I didn't ever get to see that in the theater.
Yeah, no, dude. You know what? When this movie was coming out, like I really wanted to go and see it, and my dad and my mom were like very adamant, like you can't go and see it. Like we're not gonna let you see it. You know, like it's just gonna like make you scared of fucking weather. And so they didn't take me to see it, right? So it was like the weekend, right? I was up playing video games, something like that. I went to bed, and I woke up the next morning, and my dad went with my brother to go fucking see it without me.
How old was your brother at the time?
I remember there's, like, he's like in his mid 40s now, so he's a good amount of years older than me. He's like 41 now. So yeah, like he was like late teenage, like he was like 17, 18, and I was pissed. So I think what ended up happening was my mom and dad, they fucking took me to go. They saw it twice just because I wanted to see it. So I did see it in the theater. And I remember, like, I must have been like 11. How old were we when that came out? When did that first one come out?
I want to say 97. Let me look it up.
96.
Wow. Okay.
So I was, what, 7? We were like 6, 7 years old.
Yeah.
And here I was wanting to go see fucking Twister, and I was pissed off that I didn't get to see it.
You see that?
And
man?
then my parents went to go take me anyway. So yeah, I did see it in the movies.
Born in the game. 7 years old, yo. What the fuck, man? Want to see Twister? God damn it! I want to see Helen Hunt. Fucking.
Do you remember? Oh, I think we've talked about this already, but do you remember the very first movie you saw in theaters?
Yeah. So I'll give you a little bit of a backstory. I've never been a big McDonald's guy my whole life. Maybe the French fries are they slap, but for some reason Flubber was the big thing, around this time, around the story that I'm going to say, and they were doing promotions through McDonald's, and I got one of those like the extra large fry packs, and I won tickets to see the movie. And I was stoked because I had never been to a theater before or whatever, and it was an excuse to be like, it's free, you can't fucking tell me you know. And I remember we went to Mission Valley, and they told us that the stubs or whatever were expired. Or it was like too late.
What the hell?
I don't know. I can't remember the details because obviously I was a little kid, but my mom decided, they were like, well, fuck that, we're here, we're going to watch it anyway. So then I watched Flubber, and as far as I know, that is my first, real conscious experience in an enclosed theater. I did, however, I do remember in '94, I think the original Lion King came out, right?
Yeah.
I saw that at the drive-in, which was pretty badass.
That is badass to see the drive-in.
So Flubber and the Lion King, yep.
A good mix.
I know this is going to be a sore subject for you, sir. But did you want to talk about the Super Bowl spot for Deadpool and Wolverine? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, fuck you, Wes.
I was rooting for you, man. I watched the whole goddamn thing, and I thought you guys had it in the bag.
Yes, I do want to talk about the Deadpool trailer spot. It looks good, dude. It looks like a Deadpool movie. It looks like they're not moving away from it being raunchy. I mean, he has a pegging joke.
Yeah.
In the first 15 seconds of the movie. So it's very. I mean, you had to do it, right? Like Disney knew doing a Deadpool movie, getting those rights, all the rights they got with Fox. They knew what they were getting themselves into. So, yeah, dude, it looks good. I'm stoked that they didn't give us they gave us the very end of, we get to see Wolverine's shadow and his claws come out and stuff, but I'm excited to finally see it. Hopefully they go a little bit longer without showing us anything. I think it's already the most watched trailer on YouTube of all time already. I think there's some Easter eggs in that trailer. My favorite being when he's on the ground. There's a Secret Wars comic book, the newer Secret Wars, about 5 or 6 years ago that came out. And on that cover, that specific cover, is Doom. So I don't know if they're fucking with us. Deadpool definitely kills the Marvel universe in that branch off in that comic book series.
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of a nod to that as well, because that's what it seems like he's going to be doing for in this movie, but just doing the Fox reboot, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. It's funny. People complain about Ryan Reynolds a lot. I see saying that he basically plays one character, right? And that's the one character he plays in all his movies, that type of character, and it works for him, so he does it all the time. But just fucking, if you don't want to go see Ryan Reynolds movies, don't go fucking see Ryan Reynolds movies.
I don't think he's not overworking either. I don't think he does.
No, he's not. Yeah. What was the last big movie?
I think that Michael Bay
video game
one. Oh yeah, you're right. The video,
because the other one haven't they been just Netflix?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Free Guy or some shit like that.
Yeah, Free Guy. So just fucking don't go and see these movies and talk all you want. He's a draw, and I'm pretty sure this is gonna hit up and make a fucking $1 billion. Also, I do love the fucking title. I like how it's not Deadpool 3, it's Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, when they did that reveal, I was like, okay, this makes sense. I'm into it. After arc in that one as well. Where he's just buried in a casket for the entire movie. But nobody fucking knows about that movie. That's why.
Yeah, dude, I'm stoked. That what else did we get? We didn't get Maxine like everyone thought we were, or Inside Out. Did you see any of the commercials?
You know what? Nothing besides the Affleck thing, which was hilarious.
That one was awesome, dude.
Yeah. Nothing else that stood out, I don't think.
I like the Schwarzenegger State Farm commercial. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, that one's a good one, because they're trying to. What is he? Fuck. He's an action. He's doing different scenes for them, and they're trying to direct him. And because of his accent, he's saying a certain word. I forgot what word it is. And he's saying it one way, and they're trying to get him to say it to sound like normal, but he is saying that's just his fucking accent. And then at the end, Danny DeVito comes out. and says the line instead of him. So it's a good. Didn't they want to do a fucking twins?
Like a revival?
A revival. I thought I'd seen something like that, but yeah, that one was my favorite. What did you think about? Did you see the halftime show?
I did.
What'd you think about it? Everyone loved it. I thought it was okay.
You know, after everybody shat all over the production of Rihanna, I thought that the Rihanna show was kind of better than this one. And that's not to say that I didn't appreciate all the appearances, because all of that was cool. And I think my favorite part of this halftime show was when he had like the live band spell out his name in real time. That was pretty tight, you know. And then just seeing like Alicia Keys and Jermaine Dupri and Franken Luda and Will I Am and all these people from our past, you know, have this like resurgence was tight, but there was issues with the audio too. I felt like the sound mix was a little weird, wonky, and then I don't want to leave out her. I thought she did great. You know, her little guitar solo was sick.
People are saying that it wasn't real.
Yeah,
it was recorded.
Yeah, I've heard
and
that.
And we know what I say to that, Wes. She could be playing the fucking air guitar, and I'd still watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. Who fucking cares? And it's like, it's not that she doesn't know how to play. She rips. So
yeah, dude, she does. Yeah, dude, I thought it was cool. I liked it. I think I liked Rihanna's more, and then I think I definitely liked The Weeknd's 2 years ago. That was probably one of my favorites. I have loved sports all my life. The 49ers I've loved like for 30 years. I remember like around 5 is when I actually started sitting down and watching, like around 5 or 6 when I started really watching football with my dad. Yeah, it is kind of like silly and dumb that like we get so worked up and hyped about it, but it's like, honestly, it's like brings me and my family together. Like we love, me and my cousins, my dad. We all talk about sports like almost every week. We'll text each other. It's something that like it's more than just a game, dude. It's like it's family. And I was fucking bummed. I'm not gonna lie. Like I turned off the TV. I put my phone away, put it in charge, set my alarm. Where I'm trying to go with this is that you look like a fucking moron if you're rooting for the Chiefs just because of Taylor Swift. And I know people like that. I have mutuals on Instagram and in real life people that were wearing Taylor Swift shirts and fucking bracelets all because Taylor Swift is dating that fucking buffoon. Like, I want to gatekeep sports, but at the end of the day, that's what it's going to come down to if you're going to make fun of other people's teams.
And now it's time for the weekly recommendations.
What have you been watching since we talked last?
Yes. So I got a couple different things. First things first, I picked up Helldivers on the PS5. You haven't picked it up yet, and I'm upset because I haven't been able to play it because that shit's too hard to play with one person. It is on PC and PlayStation, so if you have those two consoles, I highly recommend it. It is literally Starship Troopers. It's everything from the story to the comedy to the over-the-top patriotism. It is fucking Starship Troopers to its fucking core. The gameplay is fucking awesome. It's you literally have your own ship and you pick where you want to go, what planets you want to go, and you fucking like drop into the planet. And you have to like do an objective or like eliminate all the bugs on the planet, or I think there's even levels of like robots or some shit. And that's all it is. And it's up to 4-player co-op. Like I said, the gameplay is super easy. It's to pick up. It's ridiculous. Definitely check out. And it's only $40.
Yeah, I've seen some videos that you've sent me over the last couple days, and I was pretty impressed. It looks fun, and I will be picking that up shortly.
The next thing I'm gonna rec is some music. I don't know if I've wrecked them before. They're one of my favorite bands. in my top 5. Go and listen to Coheed and Cambria's discography if you haven't. Every like 6 months, I'll go back and like, oh my god, Coheed's fucking discography is one of the greatest things ever. If you like that type of music, if you want your face shredded, check out Coheed and Cambria. They have a shit ton of albums. As you should know already, their albums tell a story in sequence. I think there's one album that they did where it's just music. It doesn't have anything to do with the story. And I think they just announced a couple months ago that this new comic series is finally finishing up the Coheed and Cambria series. So, No World for Tomorrow, I think, is finally coming out in comic form. So that's pretty badass. But yeah, check out Coheed and Cambria if you've never heard of them, or where have you been living?
Yeah, even if you don't care for them, you should know who they are.
I think Claudio is a fucking genius. All his side projects and Coheed and Cambria, and like I said, if you don't know, their music tells a story. Coheed and Cambria are the two main characters in the main story. I think the main story spans 5 albums, and then there's the 6th album is a prequel album, and then they did Ascension and Descension, Afterman, which was like a prequel, like the person who found the universe that Coheed and Cambria lived in. And then now they're on their 2nd story that has nothing to do with Coheed and Cambria. It's like in a different universe. So yeah, dude, that guy's a fucking genius. Check it out. And check out all his other shit out if you haven't. And then the last thing I'm going to wreck is I went to the movies for the first time this year. Finally, it felt like forever. And I want to go check out Lisa Frankenstein, dude. If you don't know, it's written by Diablo Cody, directed by her directorial debut by Zelda Williams. It's starring Catherine Newton and Cole Sprouse, and I fucking loved it, dude. If you like Diablo Cody shit, especially Jennifer's Body, you'll love this. I think it's not doing well in the theaters, dude. I think it's only made a couple million. And I think they made it for like 13 million. It got like a 50 on Rotten Critics, and then like an 80 audience. But it's fucking good, dude. It's out there. You're kind of like watching it, like, where the fuck are they going with this? And then shit starts happening, and you're like, oh. But yeah, man. Catherine Newton is so fucking good, dude. She was good in Freaky. And she's fucking good at this. And she's going to be in, we talked about it. What's her name from Scream, the movie she's going to be in?
The vampire one, right?
Yeah, she's going to be in that. She fucking rules, dude. She's awesome in it. Like I said, Cole Sprouse is fucking good as the I guess the Frankenstein's monster type character. I think it's going to be one of those movies that is going to be like, Rocky Horror Picture, where it's going to be like a midnight movie, a cult following, where people are going to go see it every year.
All right, I've got 2. I've been rewatching Euphoria, which, if I'm not mistaken, you haven't watched yet, correct?
Yeah, I've seen an episode, dude. It just wasn't my thing.
Okay, so you didn't want to do it. All right.
Yeah.
You watched was it the very first episode, the pilot?
I watched, I think, one time at work, I watched, the first 2 episodes.
Okay.
Wasn't for me. It wasn't for me, but I can see why people like it.
Okay.
And I can see why, it was good. It's good. It just wasn't for me, dude.
The Euphoria is a guilty pleasure of mine. I think it has some great powerhouse performances. It can be very triggering for a variety of reasons. And for me, I felt like it wasn't like a contemporary version of Kids. Have you ever seen Kids, or do you know about it? Yeah. Of
course.
I definitely think that they tapped into something there, but also because it has to do with high schoolers, I could see why people would want to stay away. But Zendaya, has won a shit ton of awards for this, and her character alone, Rue, is amazing. I think that she gets a lot of shit from a lot of people, and I don't really know why. I think she's a star, as well as everybody else in this show. And then last night, I went back into the archives and I watched a little film called Free Fire, A24 flick. It's from 2017, and it's streaming now on Max. It stars Brie Larson, your baby, Cillian Murphy, and a bunch. It's an all-star cast, dude, an ensemble cast. It's one of those films that really pretty much takes place all in a warehouse. It's an hour and 30, very lean, but very funny, dark comedy, a lot of gunplay happening, and everybody is on there in perfect form. It's got a 70 on Rotten, and I know it did not do well at the box office. I know A24 is not a studio that's ever really trying to, smash records or anything, but it's kind of strange with, you got Cillian and Brie in this, and it seemed like nobody watched it. If you're interested in this kind of like grimy, gangster-esque film style, check it out. It's very good. It's about some informants that kind of get caught up in a arms deal that goes very, very bad. Have you seen this one, man?
Yeah, I have. It's good, dude. I liked it. I think it's one of those movies. I know it did poorly, but I think that's another movie that kind of goes under the radar.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. It's funny. You mentioned Cillian, but did you hear his interview about? I'm gonna ask him about Red Eye. What he thought of that?
Oh no, no, I didn't.
He essentially said that he wasn't a fan of the movie.
I'm going to be honest with you, man. I have Red Eye, and I liked it when I was younger, but then it's very much how you feel about the game. I think that's how I feel about Wes Craven's Red Eye.
Really? Craven said that was one of his favorites he's ever done.
Really?
Yeah.
There's just something about it that it's not bad, and it's entertaining, and it's watchable, and I feel like Rachel McAdams and Cillian do have chemistry, and Cillian does feel scary in it, but it's also PG-13, so they're limiting themselves there. And the plot for me is just so formulaic, and I feel like it kind of plays out how you and I would sit down and write that type of movie. That's the movie that we would make, and sometimes I'm kind of let down by that, where it's like, where's the stamp? And that also for me doesn't feel, it feels like a studio told him to make the movie and he didn't get to put his fingerprints all over it, Yeah.
But
that's just me. So you're a fan of Red Eye? You're
I like it, dude.
Champion?
I dig it.
Okay. Good to know. I didn't know that.
So that movie, it's streaming on Max?
Yes, Free Fire is streaming.
Maybe I'll check it out. I'm pretty sure Sandy's never seen it. It'd be good first watch.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And now for the movie focus of the week.
Valentine, dude. This fucking
Where do we begin?
It's from 2001. It was originally based on or loosely based, I should say, on a novel. It was directed by Jamie Blanks, who, as we've said before, did Urban Legend, which I think Urban Legend is a fucking classic. The first one, forget all the shitty sequels, forget them. The first one is good, and I think it still has legs today. Like, if you watch this, for somebody, like a young person who doesn't know anything about it, I think that they could love Urban Legend, right?
Yeah.
It's so going back to Valentine, it stars Denise Richards, David Boreanaz, Marley Sheldon, Jessica Capshaw, and Katherine Heigl. And the film kind of tells a revenge story which is kind of why I think I have a connection to it. I love it. The time that I watched it. It's basically about all of these group of girls were shitty to this dude. And I think it was like a middle school dance, high school dance in 1988. They all kind of tortured this kid who just wanted friends. He was, just wanted to be accepted, and they did everything but that. And, we do a time jump in the movie, and all of a sudden this same group of women start kind of dropping like flies, and there is this crazy like Valentine's Day theme because of what they did to this kid during that it was like what would you say, like a dance?
Like a Valentine's Day dance, maybe like the Sadie Hawkins.
Yep. I'm curious, man. First of all, do you like this movie?
Well, right off the bat, why did it cost $29 million to make?
I don't know.
What the fuck?
When you put it like that, I feel like Blumhouse could do this now, and it would be like 8 million, 7 million, right?
They didn't talk to me for like fucking shoestrings and 50 cents.
29 million. I don't know.
Like I said, dude, when you announced it, I think it's a decent slasher, dude. It's one of the better, I think, like 2000s horror movies. 2000s horror movies always get like a shitty rep, which it was a shitty time for horror movies. There's some gems in there. I don't know if this is technically, I don't know if I would call it a gem, but I think it's definitely has a rewatchable value, and I think it holds up decent. I just watched it again today, and it holds up pretty well. I don't remember the first time I saw it, and then I watched it last week, and then I wanted to watch it again because I'm weird and I like watching things right before we record.
Yeah.
And I think it holds up well for being fucking 23, 22 years old. And I've always loved that fucking cherub mask, dude. I think that's a badass killer mask.
Because he just has, it's very stripped down, bare bones. It's the cherub mask or the Cupid mask, however you want to refer to it, with the oversized peacoat.
Mm-hmm.
And the boots, and just like a butcher knife or something, whatever he's using.
And the kills are pretty decent, dude. There's obviously you get you have to have a Cupid kill, right?
Yes.
One of the girls dies by bow and arrow. She tumbles off like a whole bunch of staircases into a trash can.
That's a great kind of one of the standout creative kills in this, and nobody ever fucking, because she's that friend was supposed to be on her way to like LA or something, right? For work or something, so no one ever even questions that she's missing.
They don't find out till like the movie's like 75% done.
They're like, oh yeah, she never got on the plane or something.
I think I would have done the opening differently though. I would have taken out that opening scene where the flashback scene where you see everything happening to the eventual killer, I guess. And I would have kept the Katherine Heigl scene like the opening kill scene. It's still the opening kill scene, but it's not the opening scene. And then maybe left that scene where the flashback scene kind of towards where they're kind of figuring out that was who the person was. Because that opening scene with Katherine Heigl, she gets it. It's a cool scene. I don't know why you would hide in a fucking body bag like that.
Well, she does the for context before I get into this scene, I feel like this movie is very much it's a product of studios trying to, and this is, what is it, Warner Brothers? Yeah, it is Warner Brothers and Village Roadshow Pictures. They were trying to cash in on that Scream resurgence of horror, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, interestingly enough, it takes the route of, let's take away all of that meta shit and just go back to, you know, campy 80s slasher, like straight to the point, kind of in the vein of I Know What You Did Last Summer. You know, but I do think I Know What You Did Last Summer is still a better movie. I'm just putting that out there. But going back to the Katherine Heigl scene, I think that she runs back into that room, and instead of, you know, leaving the building or running towards an exit, she goes deeper into the building where she has nowhere to go. Right? So she's kind of pitted up against, like, she has no other option but to try to hide in the body bag.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as what she was thinking mentally, was he going to just be like, oh, she's not in here, and leave? Which he does not do whatsoever. But it, you know, it makes for great tension, right? Where he starts stabbing the bags and just gets very like ruthless, and then realizes that she must be in one of the end bags, and then just slits her throat real savage like. It was sad to see, you know, and it's also a nod to the Drew Barrymore let's kill off one of our biggest stars on this cast in the first few minutes. And I thought that she did a good job. Yeah. But that's, you know, and it was I like that kind of setup where she's working in a was in a morgue. Where she's like a student, right? And, you know, she's alone for the night, and she gets the creepy fucking Valentine, which is, I think, the iconic takeaway from everybody, you know, for this movie, where it's like, roses are red, violets are blue. They'll need dental records to identify you. That's the one she reads, right?
Yeah.
Iconic. So that's already unnerves her. She goes back, you know, sets up her body, and then hears some kind of clattering or whatever, runs into her friend, goes back, and then when she's about to, you know, make a surgical incision into her corpse, he breathes. Great fucking setup. And then, you know, he's impossibly moves and disappears, and she doesn't know where the body went. But, yeah. You know, going back to what you said, I think I would have taken out that intro of the dance, because it does kind of, if you're familiar with the cast, kind of gives away what's going to happen. It's a little bit too much of foreshadowing of what's going to happen in the movie, and you can kind of break it down as to who is going to be targeted just from that intro. So shifting around the editing probably would have made this movie a little bit stronger. I think you have a point.
Yeah, I think that's one of the weak points is them doing that. I think they do a good job in kind of making you guess and making you kind of wonder, shit, maybe it isn't that person, maybe it is. There's a couple characters throughout the movie that you feel that way. But then they start dying, and you're like, okay, wait a minute, this is it's exactly how I thought it was going to go.
And there's so many like shitty red herrings for no reason. Like the dude that's with Katherine Heigl's character in the intro, that he's like a complete piece of shit, and he you know, he's like, oh, you know, you got too much expensive stuff, so can we just split the bill? And then he's like asking her for a kiss after pulling that douchebag move, and then
he talks about himself in the third person.
Yeah, Jason. Oh yeah, Jason wants a kiss. Dumb guy. But yeah, and then you see him a few times, you know, where they say that he's been missing since her murder, and then you kind of see him show up a few times, and they just like zoom in on him, and nothing ever comes of that. Like they just put those in there as like some shitty like, oh, maybe it's this guy, he's the Jeremy Melton killer. But it's like, but what would the payoff be if it was him? You know, it's such bizarre writing. Like, I do think it's interesting in this whole movie how, like, besides David Boreanaz, who, if you haven't seen this movie, it's fucking old. We're probably going to spoil some stuff, so put this on pause at this point if you're really interested in this movie. But David Boreanaz, aka Angel, his character ends up being our masked killer, and he is the only guy that's worth a goddamn in this entire movie. Every other guy is a piece of shit. And when I say that, I'm not kidding. Like, every guy that's written into this movie, besides him, is pretty awful.
Yeah.
And when you first watched this, did you know who it was, or did you buy that kind of that how do you say, that twist at the end where they make you think that it's
So yeah, like I think they did a good job with making you believe that it was one of the friends. We get to the end, and there's this big kind of like Valentine's Day party, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the climax of the movie is. You know, they have the final fight with the killer, and David Boreanaz's character. You kind of think that he's like kind of outed himself as the killer. He's chasing Kate around, and then the actual killer comes out with the cherub mask on, and chases our final girl down the stairs. They both fall, and then David Boreanaz basically shoots the killer and takes the mask off, and it's one of the friends,
Dorothy. Yeah,
Dorothy. And so you're kind of left to believe, like, oh shit, like it was her. But then you're kind of like, what is her motive, you know? So I think I was they pulled a fast one on me. But then at the end, we find out, it ends with his nose bleeding, right? And that was kind of a thing they would show in the killers. They kind of get up close to the killer's mask, and his nose would be bleeding through the mask after every kill. And at the end, we see his nose, and it's bleeding, and he's kind of hugging Kate, and she doesn't see it. We're just seeing it, and then it kind of ends. But they don't really explain, like, we don't get an explanation why Dorothy's in the mask to begin with.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. I think that there was some kind of alternate cut, or something was taken out there. But
either that, or the only other thing I can think of them putting so much money into it is them thinking it was going to be more. There was going to be more. Yeah.
I mean, I think that this could have had it taken off. It could have been in every Valentine's Day, tradition for a couple years. The way that Saw and other movies were able to accomplish.
It's not like what I mean by, like, where the fuck, like I said in the beginning, like $29 million to make. It doesn't look bad. Like it's pretty polished, right? Like
yeah.
So you could tell they put in the work. The acting isn't bad at all, or at least I don't think so. So yeah, but that's the only other explanation I can think of, is that they kind of left it open for us to find out in a sequel. But yeah, it kind of she just kind of left with, okay, why the fuck was she in the mask? Why was she chasing her in the first place?
I think that he staged that. That maybe Dorothy found him or something, and he put her in the. It was almost like the resurrection, Halloween resurrection thing, where he he dressed her up in that. She woke up and didn't know what was going on. He throws her down the stairs to kind of manipulate the situation. So then Kate, Marley Sheldon's character, is like, well, it can't be fucking
Adam?
Yeah, it couldn't be Adam because he's like right here. So it's like kind of the perfect plan, and then going back to the the Valentine's Day dance, Kate is the only one that lets him, Jeremy Melton, down easy. Which she's like, maybe later, come find me later or whatever. And he's like, all right, cool, I'll do that. And it was that simple gesture of like empathy and being kind that's what keeps her alive. I think, that's the missing element that everybody else didn't have. And then if you pay attention to the structure of the film, there's a few characters that after they're kind of, like the creepy neighbor where he's like, will you be my mate, Kate? Let's go on a date, Kate. Well, guy, he gets murdered. The killer goes into Kate's house, all super random, finds this neighbor going through Kate's lingerie and shit and putting on her pantyhose and stuff, and he goes, "Whoa, man, it's not what it looks like. I am not well." Which is a fucking great line, and then he just gets worked over with a hot iron.
But then they never go back to that, right?
No, this guy David Boreanaz is a goddamn fucking great cleaner, dude, because you can't tell me he didn't make a mess with that body with swinging that fucking iron the way that he was, right? He cleaned up the apartment and no one ever fucking knew anything. No sound. Nobody was alerted. Okay, whatever. I'll buy it. But my point was that if you really pay attention, I think that that the killer is connected to Kate in some way, and I feel like he's purposely avoiding her in a lot of these situations. So it makes sense in the end that she would be our final girl. Mm-hmm. But I think the ultimate takeaway of this movie is don't be shitty to people, especially kids. Don't sometimes you can't take back things that you say. And I'm not, not to glorify violence or anything, but things can happen, and accountability is a thing,
Yeah. We always preach it on the show, dude. Don't be an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. And then Denise Richards, dude. Denise Richards.
Yeah.
Also,
first off, why the fuck? Who goes in a big ass mansion, big ass party? Who goes? Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna go for a dip in the jacuzzi. You know who does that? Denise Richards does that in the late 90s, early 2000s.
What's funny is that I guess you could give her a pass because of the her date ends up being, again, like I said, a douchebag who is like, "Oh yeah, let's go upstairs and I have a gift for you." And she's like, "All right," all into it, and they go upstairs, and then he shows her his dick, and she's like, "Oh, you brought me up here to show me your penis?" And he's all, "Yeah." And then he's like, "What are you waiting for, honey? Wax it," or something really fucked up. And she's like, so then she's starts playing into it and ties him up or whatever, and then just fucking pours hot wax all on his junk, dude. And then, so I think that's her pass for, okay, I'm gonna get away from this party and go to the hot tub where there is absolutely nobody else there to witness my brutal electrocution.
And at first, you kind of think that she's not going to die because when she's in the jacuzzi, and then there's they have this clear top that they cover the jacuzzi with. I'm assuming when no one's in it, he puts it up so she's kind of trapped, and then he has like a drill, right? Like a giant drill.
Yeah.
That he's like stabbing into the glass trying to get her, and he gets her, but it's kind of like in the shoulder, like it's just like a flesh wound, and she kind of starts bleeding, and you're like, okay, like it wasn't through the fucking head or the chest. And then he opens it and just fucking tosses the electric drill in there, and she fucking gets electrocuted.
Yeah. It's fucked up because so he's drilling through the hole. He's drilling through the top of the jacuzzi, right? And then she starts like kind of one-upping him and using the holes to breathe to get air. And so I think he just gets tired and is like, "Oh, fuck this!" And then the drill obviously is plugged in, and that's why it's able to electrocute her, which makes no. It's like what? And like the giant dude. Thinking about that now that I work in maintenance, that the thread that he has on that drill is so goddamn ridiculous. It's like the biggest one you could ever have. But I'll give it, again, and I think that's like a nod to the 80s where it's like the Slumber Party Massacre and shit like that, where it's just like, they're just having fun and it's not trying necessarily to be realistic. But I do think that the Denise Richards kill might be one of the best, if not the best, and it's crazy that they killed her because Denise Richards, I think at this time, was still pretty much on top,
Oh, yeah.
Wild things all day, dude. What we haven't talked about the shitty ass con man that's playing Dorothy.
And that's another thing too. Like it's just like a kind of a subplot that just doesn't go anywhere when he dies. Like it doesn't, And then the person that he was conning before Dorothy kind of shows up, and does she die?
Yeah.
But there's really nothing happens. Like it's not like it just that subplot just fucking ends when they both are killed.
It's really just, again, it's all the only thing that it kind of shows is that Dorothy is getting played by this dude and is too trusting and allows him to stay in her fucking big ass mansion, and then either his ex-partner or somebody comes and is like, oh, you owe me money, blah blah blah, and gets herself killed in the house party. She sneaks into the house party to go through this guy's stuff, and then runs into the killer and dies for no reason because she was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, because she witnesses that the fucking the cherub killer has, I think he's just killed the housekeeping lady.
Yeah.
And she's like, she walks in and is like, "Oh, I was just leaving," or something, like, don't mind me, and then of course he pulls out the knife and goes after her, and she's hiding, and he makes it seem like he's left, but he's just staged it. He knows where she's at. She gets out, he fucking throws her viciously through a glass shower door and then just impales her. That's how she dies. I thought that one was pretty cool too.
That was a good one.
Practical. How about the fucking the shitty art exhibit
with fucking RX Queen by the Deftones playing?
Yeah, dude.
That soundtrack, dude, has like Linkin Park, Orgy, Rob Zombie. That's the fucking soundtrack that we need on vinyl.
Yeah, and there's a lot of it's not every song, but a lot of songs are remixed. It's like it's like a special remix for a few of them, so it's pretty rad. And I can't believe they haven't released that they haven't pressed it, at least that we know of. But yeah, shout out to that soundtrack.
Mid 2000s soundtrack, dude, all new metal.
They're just chilling, like listening to RX Queen in the fucking exhibit, like. And then like Marilyn Manson starts playing, and it's just like everybody's chilling. Like it's just so bizarre.
Or the final scene in the house, dude. It's Disturbed playing.
Yeah.
They're like people are like dancing in the background and shit.
Oh man. Shout out to because my little sister listens to us now all the time, I think every week. So shout out to Sam. But we just got into an argument because she was all, I don't care, I like Disturbed because I used to listen to them when I would play dolls as a kid or whatever. I was all, man, you're fucking lame, dude. Like, who likes Disturbed? And who openly admits that? And she was all, I don't care, I like Disturbed.
Let's talk about openly emitting bands that we listen to.
Yeah, even the not that cops shouldn't be portrayed as questionable characters, but the detective in this is no better. Where he's just like super arrogant, and then he comes on to Paige, Denise's character, like when everybody leaves in his office, and he's all, "What are we gonna do about this?" And she's all, "What are we gonna do about what? This sexual tension between us."
And he puts his hand on her like leg.
Yeah, she's all.
And she tells him to take it off.
He's all, okay.
He's like, "Oh, where do you want me to put it?" She's like, "Up your ass."
Oh man. And then you find I don't know if you caught this or not, but later on when shit starts going down at the house party later, Kate, I think, she's like trying to contact him and let him know, like, hey, I think the killer's here at this house party. She hears like his phone off in the distance, and she runs over to the fountain, and she finds his head in the fountain. So again, it's like bizarre choices to, like, a lot of these deaths are off screen for some reason. What rating would you give this?
I think I'd give it like a 2.5.
All right, just under a 3. I could see that.
Yeah. Like I said, dude, it does its job and what it's supposed to be, and it's definitely one of those movies. It's definitely one of those movies that I want to see in the theater, with a packed house, just because the kills and the shit that's happening on screen is kind of ridiculous. I think it'd be a fun experience. But yeah, I think 2.5 is where I have it. What about you?
In all honesty, I think a 2.5 is fair.
Yeah.
It's I would like to see it, and maybe people are going to be mad at us for me saying this, but maybe like I would like them to see it, try this concept again.
Yeah. Either like a reboot or I'd even take a sequel. But yeah, we don't. I think you said this on the last episode. We don't have that many Valentine's Day horror movies. There's maybe a handful you can name.
It's cool, and I think that this is, at least for me, I think just a guilty pleasure. I saw it as a kid. I remember I dubbed the rental tape. I had it for years and years.
Fucking calling the fucking police right now.
And I just always thought it was a lot of fun, especially with the cast, and it's kind of crazy that I don't think this movie pulled in. It didn't bomb per se, right? It made 37 against its
29 million.
You said it was 29 million?
Yeah, about 37 box office and 29 budget
to make. So it made its money, and I think that's the cast is probably to thank for that.
I think it also had a little bit to do with the fact that it came out in 2001.
Yeah, a weird time.
Definitely a weird time.
If you check out the marketing for this movie, it's very... I don't know if you've seen the trailer. Have you seen the trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very like, who who is this movie made for? Is it for women? Is it for horror fans? They kind of pitched it as, yeah, like take your date to this movie or whatever. And I don't know. I think it was just like people were confused as to who it was supposed to be aimed at. Its audience is not very clear, in some ways. And I think that probably could have hurt it. And it got kind of lost in the shuffle of, like, as we said at the top of the show, a bunch of movies that were trying to emulate the success of, those like mid to late 90s slasher horror films. Crazy to think that Jamie Blanks might be directing the new Scream. That'll be interesting if he gets it.
Yeah, because has he done anything recently?
No, dude.
Yeah, he's been kind of quiet, so that's kind of an interesting choice.
I don't know if you delved into the research for Valentine at all, but I think he was quoted as saying, "Please forgive me for this."
I saw that quote.
Yeah, this movie.
A lot of people hate me or something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Also, why does this movie have like 4 fucking writers?
That's all. Usually a sign that it's probably not going to be that good. We're all over the place, like inconsistent. An interesting thing that I read about this was that Richard Kelly was actually offered to direct this first before Jamie Blanks, and he actually opted out of it to do a little film called Donnie Darko that I think has a little bit more of a cultural impact than this one.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I always tend to watch My Bloody Valentine. I'll probably watch that again tomorrow. But yeah, check it out. I think it's to rent $3.99, and I think it's on sale right now for like $10 to buy it digitally. Physically, I think it's kind of expensive because it hasn't really gotten a lot of releases.
Is it? Yeah. Do you know? Is that out of print? The Shout Factory?
I think it is. Yeah. Also, let's talk about that real quick. Again, the cherub mask is fucking awesome, and the artwork for this is awesome. It's kind of super simple. It has the face, and it has like the face. The mask has a bunch of different writing on the mask, right?
Yeah, I think it says like "She loves me not" type shit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, dude. Just check out Valentine.
I do love that. Now that you bring that up, yeah, I think that's what drew me to this movie in the first place was that kind of iconic art.
Yeah.
Especially for that time, I feel like it's very like kind of forward thinking and progressive, and you're like, holy shit, what's this all about? But yeah, check it out. I have this, dude. You're not gonna believe this, man. And thank you for bringing. Now I'm gonna have a chance to say it before we get out of here, but I have this movie on so many. I have it digitally. I have the VHS. I have the standard DVD. I have
look at you.
I have the sound. I have the original CD, probably the first pressing.
Damn.
Yeah.
So what are you just missing? A Shout Factory?
Yeah, I don't have the. Yeah, I don't have. I didn't get the. It was like expensive, and at the time I was like, I'll wait till it goes on sale, or if I see it in person, and I never did, and now it's not around anymore. I got upset because I was going to pre-order it because they were giving away posters of that art with if you ordered, if you did the pre-order, and I missed the pre-order, and then I got very discouraged to order it at all. So it was my fault, but yeah, I have this movie way too many times. What are we talking about next week, sir? I'm pretty certain it's your pick.
You can't run from it anymore.
I know what it is. Holy shit. Okay.
We're going to go back to simpler time. We're going to go back to 2008 to Forks, Washington, and finally do Twilight.
It's kind of poetic. It makes sense.
You know what, dude? I was going for I wanted to go for. Sandy's doing this event on Saturday. It's Y2K themed, and this was 2001. So I was like, man, what can we do? I want to try to keep it kind of Y2K ish, and I was like, maybe we can do that shitty fucking prom night. Keep kind of with the same thing, and then I was like, you know what? No, we need to do this. Twilight,
The original.
the original.
Now, my question for you, sir, are we going? Is there going to be a guest or guests on this episode? Because I don't know if it's if they're going to be too happy being left out of movie focus like this.
It's Valentine's Day. Wanted to give Sandy something nice for Valentine's Day. She's been asking when we were going to cover this movie. So I said, hey, you know what? For Valentine's Day, I'm going to give her the gift that keeps on giving. The Drop the Mic episode of Twilight. So I think we do got to have a round table of guests.
That's going to be fun. We go by Drop the Mic. We are available on a plethora of platforms, including Luminary, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you name it. We are on there. Check us out. Look us up. Give us a 5-star rating and a little nice review. It helps us stay relevant. It really propels the show. And thank you to everybody that listens every week. And stay tuned for some more video footage, which we are working on. Next week, we're talking Twilight. It's going to be a lot of fun. But for now, we're going to get out of here. This is Orion Jimenez and Wesley Swanson signing off, saying good fight and
good night.
That's right. And happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there. It don't matter if you're single.
Take yourself out to the movies. Go watch a shitty movie. Go watch a shitty... Find your local theater. I know there's a whole bunch of theaters in Southern California playing Valentine's movies. Treat yourself. Treat your friends out. Kiss your homies.
Celebrate your loved ones every day, not just one day.
That is true.
All right. And we'll leave you with those words of wisdom. Good night, everybody.
I don't get it. We told you. We haven't seen Shelley in over a year. How are we going to help you?
Humor me. By the way, wasn't there another one of you?
Lily. She's out of town.
These are remembrance cards sent to the parents. Take a look at this. It's odd.
Jeremy Melton. J.M. Jeremy Melton, jeez.
Who's Jeremy Melton?
This loser from 6th grade.
He and Shelley were friends?
No, that's the thing. We haven't seen him in years. Why would he send a card?
Because it's him. It's Jeremy. I got a Valentine the other day, and it was awful. And someone saying that they were going to kill me, and it was signed J.M. Ours, too. The card in our chocolates.
You both received threatening notes signed J.M.? And after I tell you I'm looking for a Jason Marquette, you don't think to mention it?
I thought it was a joke.
Okay. Why would Jeremy Melton want to hurt you?
Well, he attacked me at a dance in junior high, and he got sent to reform school because of it.
Well, that would explain why he threatened you. But why go after Shelley? Why you're friends?
I don't know, but he is.
You don't know that. The truth is, some kid that you all tease in the 6th grade is probably not worth getting all worked up over. But I'll go check it out anyway.
You do that. I'm next. I know I'm next. What are you talking about? Because Jeremy got sent to reform school because of me.
Dorothy, he attacked you.
Dorothy. He did attack you, right? No, he didn't. I just said that he did.
Why would you do that?
You guys wouldn't understand. Do you remember what I looked like back then?
You were bigger. You were big boned. You were plump.
I was fat, okay? The only person that looked at me the whole night was Jeremy. And then when those guys came up and they saw us making out, I couldn't bear it, and so I lied. And I said he attacked me.
Dorothy, why didn't you say something about this to Vaughn?
I just couldn't. Dorothy, I really wouldn't worry about this.
Jeremy Melton couldn't manage a water fountain without screwing up. I don't think he's capable of an intricate revenge plot.